In the Major League
Alright, so I probably got a little bit too excited when I caught this
I'm
fish.
hooked into a
But
giant.
honestly, when you've been catching fish like this, it seems pretty big. With that said, let's go fishing. So I decided to try out a spot that I've never been to before. I've been wanting to try this spot for a while, but I've heard from multiple sources that it was not a good spot to go to. And if you can see the rain hitting the water, it was definitely raining a lot harder in person than it seems like in the video. But it was just supposed to rain all weekend, and come Saturday night I started having withdrawals. I said, you know what, I can't fight this urge, I gotta go fishing. The first thing I did when I got here is I started scanning the area for a good spot to put this bait trap I made. I have some fish at home, and it would be nice to get some food for them out of this river, so I don't have to go to the bait store and buy some shad for them.
Over there, but it looks like a very good fishing spot, so now I don't want to spook any fish going over there and dropping this off. So I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to tie it off to this tree, and then I'll let it sit here this time while I fish and check it at the end and see if I got any food for my fish. See if I can feed them today. Maybe they'll just be going hungry, who knows. So I'm gonna have to dunk this in the water and get it where it'll sink. Alright. Step 1. Commence step 2. I'm just gonna have to untie that, and I ain't trying to catch a catfish or nothing. Nothing big, so just one little standard one tie ought to do it. I don't foresee it going anywhere. I got my shitty trolling motor.
So I left that there and I went to go do some casting, and I never actually caught anything but a snail out of that bucket. And I also didn't even pick it up on this trip. When I got back going to the boat launch, it was too dark and I couldn't find it, so I just came back the next day to get it. However, I casted around all this structure where I thought there might be some fish, but I was wrong. And I included this in the video because all this site was just so pretty. And then not too long after, I did end up catching my first fish.
Oh, hooked on. Nothing big. I had a good feeling there had to be something in there. It's a little bass. Very, very tiny bass. Nice little swim though.
It's amazing how easy he came off. But either way, I fixed my lure because you always want to make sure your presentation's right after you get done. And I cast it out to see if you had any buddies, and then this happened.
What the f***? That scared the shit out of me, honestly.
So I put that down and tried putting something different in front of their face. So I picked up the spinner bait, and I gave that a cast, and they didn't want this either. So I guess he got away from me. So I couldn't catch any more of his buddies, so I decided to move out and try some other structure that I found on the river. And I had no luck, but I was really amazed at all the structure there was out here, that the fish, if there was fish there, they just didn't want what I was throwing.
Precision. I think that cast deserves a fish.
And I actually did amaze myself with the accuracy of my last cast because I was really expecting to catch that tree. But either way, it did not deserve a fish as I thought it would, so I made my way along the river, kind of speed fished it, and just kept going so I could just cover as much of this as I could and make casts while I was out there. And I got a couple small hits while I was moving my way, like this one right here, but I missed it.
Oh. I actually did just have a bite there. Now just look at how beautiful it is over there. Alright, now I gotta go back to steering.
And then, of course, with this cast, I wasn't as accurate as I was before, and I did catch the tree. I tried giving it some yanks, which probably just buried it in a little bit deeper, and I ended up losing this lure, so I had to say goodbye to that and put this one down.
And I just broke one. Okay. I ain't even shown this yet. So looks like it's your time to shine, bud. This is just a lovely sight, I think. All these trees, everything down here is amazing.
And I know I was pretty hard to hear in the original audio, but I was really just explaining how pretty I thought everything was, and I really wanted to share that with everybody.
What in the world?
So I switched positions from where I just was so I could try and cast back where I had that little slap, and I caught this little dink of a guy. I think I actually just snagged him.
Poor little guy. He probably didn't even mean to hit this. Probably just snagged him.
And then it took me a second to finagle this lure out of this fish's back.
Sorry about that, fella. Let me get that out for you. That is a giant fish. He's probably thought that was one of his buddies. He's just trying to give him like a tail 5 or something. So there is a waterfall up here. Okay. That's what that sound was. So I made it up to the waterfall.
And I was really excited to find this dam so I could cast in the spillway, because that is a lot of times the best place to catch big fish, because they wait for bait fish to get thrown over the edge.
I'm gonna try and cast this jerk bait up here. I've got this jerk bait on. I kind of feel like there might be a walleye up in here. That would be cool. Oh boy, something just ate this right by the boat, and I missed it.
Now you're going to hear me be upset about this for a while.
Wow. The best size smallmouth I've seen yet. I cannot believe that it got off. That is crock. I'm very upset about that. That was the first cast up in there too. It's just a part of fishing. The absolute worst part of fishing. Losing a fish, especially one right by the boat. Also was about as pretty much as soon as you hooked it too.
And then this is the cast that made me forget about losing that fish, because I ended up catching one, so obviously the excitement overpowered the disappointment of missing that fish.
Oh boy, I gotta tighten my drag. Oh, let's see what we got here. This one's fighting pretty good. So, it's a smallmouth, better than the other one.
But I just seem to be hooking these fish everywhere but in the mouth.
Like a terrible position. I'm sorry about this. This is the nicest one so far. Still a little guy, but it's fun to catch them. Especially when they're in the strong current. They fight so hard. Like, that was such a small fish. Well, he wasn't very small, but he wasn't large either. But the way he fight, they fight because they're used to fighting this current constantly.
Here I go again doing what I do best, catching trees.
Of course I would catch a tree. Alright. Lure rescue mission.
So I'll fast forward to me going over there to rescue my lure, but I want to explain a second what I'm about to do afterwards. Is my lure and my line were all cut up in this tree, and I didn't want to cast out a line that was weak because I felt it and it was frayed. So I ended up deciding just to cut the line and retie it, and it was just better to take those few seconds to retie your line than to cast it back out and end up losing that lure you just spent that time getting out of this tree.
Oh, cooked myself. And so I definitely ought to retie, because I'd hate to get a fish, or even just to get another snag. And goddamn, these hooks are sharp. Easy. After all that work, especially to just get it back. Take those few seconds it takes to retie. Because I got a freight line. Now I know my line is good and strong. Now I'm gonna have to leave soon, but I've waited so long to try this spot out because I've heard nothing but bad things about it. But today's trip is making me want to try this again.
And what happens next made it a definite that I needed to try this spot again. Just not what I'm about to immediately do, because I actually cast right back into the bushes after I just got done getting my lure out of that tree.
Wow. Professional. They're gonna hire me at really fishing after they see this. If I were to post this video in the major league, anybody in the major league fishing seen it? Oh boy, I'm hooked into a giant.
You can definitely hear my excitement here, because I knew I was not hooked into another dink smallmouth.
There's a big fish. Wow. Oh my God, what is this? This is a walleye. Wow. Look at that. Wow. 100% worth it. I knew there had to be a walleye in here. Look at that. That is a beautiful fish. Totally worth the trip. Worth everything. Worth coming out in the rain.
So now I definitely had to come back. So I went back the next day, and Brennan came and told me so we didn't drain more than one battery. My beautiful girlfriend was there too, and we were able to catch a couple nice smallmouth along with this nice pike. Thanks for watching. If you like the content, make sure you follow me for more.